it's just about 6:30. Hi, it's Brenda. I'm going live with stretching conditioning for a stance project today. So I will just wait a few minutes. We start around 6:30, so I'll wait for a bunch of people to hop on. A couple side notes. There is a class on Friday that ACE is hosting with Valerie Rocky. And check their Instagram because they're bringing in guest teachers all the time. So take advantage of getting trainings from some different teachers and getting some new experiences while you can. So a quick little bit about me. My name is Brenda. I own a studio in New York for over 20 years. I've been in California for about a year now or so. I judge for Hall of Fame. I teach a bunch of master classes and workshops and conventions and private clients, and today I'm doing a stretch and conditioning and strength class for dancers. So real quick before we get started, I'm just gonna let you guys know, we'll wait a few more minutes. It looks like we've got 2 so far. But if you're on and you're taking class, some things you might need. We are going to be on our knees a little bit. So if you don't have a mat, I have a yoga mat with me. You can use a towel. I fold a towel under my knee for protection. You might want a yoga block or 2 if you have one. If you don't, shoebox works too, just for stability. Sometimes we won't use it as an actual prop, but in some of our poses and stretches, you might need it for stability. And if you want to level up your training, and you have a resistance loop or a TheraBand that you can tie for some of the exercises, there will be an option to use this, but I know that at home sometimes we're limited with what resources we have. So there'll be options for both, and I probably will do the exercise one side with and one side without, so you can see what that looks like. I'm just gonna make sure that everyone can hear me. Comment if you can't hear me. I think we're pretty good, but I've had problems with my internet, and I'm not right now, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna get started. We're gonna start with a little bit of a cardio warm-up. So make sure your space is free and clear. The entire class can be done on the size of a yoga mat. So if you have a yoga mat, you can lay it out. If you don't, beach towel is a great option. It's soft, it's about the size of a yoga mat, so that you're having spatial awareness. We're going to do cardio in the first few minutes that will involve a burpee and a push-up and some strength. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it really quickly, and then we're going to do it together, and then we'll stop and I'll go into the next set of exercises. But I really just want to get our heart going and get us ready to go. So my version of our extended burpee for our strength and conditioning class starts like this. I'll do it one time facing you, and I'll do it one time facing sideways so you can see. So I'm so glad everyone's on. So you're going to start in your wide second position. The first count or move, you're going to reach up on 1. You're going to squat on 2. You're going to go back to your plank position. 3, 4. You're going to do 2 push-ups. 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you're going to take the opposite knee to the opposite elbow. So you're twisting in that plank position. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to push back to a slight downward dog and a little stretch, pushing the heels down. 5, plank 6, jump it at 7, come up on 8. And then we repeat that. One more time. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cross the knee over, pop it in and recover. So when we do that crossover, you want to try to maintain stability in the hips and keep pushing the hands away from the floor. You don't want to be sinking as you're twisting and letting your knee hit the ground. So you want to be lifted here and then just crossing and trying to tap the opposite elbow. And then you pop in, dropping the hips low to stand. So we're going to do a series of those, and then we're going to go into a glute series. So let me get some music, and we will get started with our cardio conditioning portion of the class. Ready? Here we go. Start wide, reach up on 1. So you reach up 1, we'll go slow. Pop, hold 2 push-ups. Down, stretch, down, cross over the knee, opposite knee, elbow. Switch, pop it in, and recover. One more time slow for those new ones. Reach up, and and down, pop it out, 2 push-ups. Down, stretch, down, knee to the opposite elbow, head in line, pop it in. Now we're gonna take it to tempo, a little faster, reach up, 1, 2, out, push up, down, cross it over, bring it in, stretch it up, again, 1, down, out, 2 push-ups, cross it over, 1 more, bring it in, and reach 1, out, push up, cross it over, bring it in wide, drop the hip, so again, 1, down, out, 2 push-ups. Cross it over. Bring it in. Good, just a little stretch up. Hopefully your heart is beating a little bit faster. One more time. Reach up. And down. Good. Roll it down. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. 2 plies. Drop the torso. Get the head down. Roll it up. 2 breaths. One more time, roll it down. Plie for 2, down, stretch, 1 more. Roll it up. 2 breaths. Ready, here we go. Repeat the whole series. Starting with the burpees. Up, down, out. We are done. Cross it over. 1, 2, and in, up. Reach, drop, down, 2 push-ups. Cross it over, pop it in, stand tall. 2 more, 2 push-ups. Cross it over, bring it in, last one, up, down, out, 2 push-ups. Cross it over, bring it in, breathe it out. Up, roll it down. 2 plies, stretch. Down, roll up, breath, roll it down, 2 plies, down for 2 counts, stretch for 2, down, stretch, roll it up, 2 breaths, keep the arms up, flat back it out this time, hold it here, take it to the diagonal. Try to keep that long spine, so no curve in the upper body. You're nice and flat. Shoulders are equal. Bring it back to the neutral. And other side, long spine. Get a little hamstring stretch here. Back to center. And up. Shigatsu. So hopefully your heart's pumping a little bit from that one. We're going to come down onto the floor for our glute series. So I'm going to use a towel. If you don't have a towel, you can kneel on like a soft pillow or roll up a sweatshirt, whatever's comfortable for you. Now, a couple things I want you to remember when we're doing this series. The point of it is to work on your glute and core stability. So, with that being said, make sure that you're supporting the opposite side. If I was to do this in a classroom setting, I might have you do this next to a neighbor so that when you're lifting your leg, you're not leaning into your neighbor. If you're at home and you have a wall, you can put your stable side against the wall, or if you have a yoga block, you can actually use that next to the side. It will help you. So if you start to shift, you'll notice that the block will start to wobble. But you really want to maintain the stability on the opposite side. So we're in this quad peg position. When I do this position, you want to make sure that your shoulders are stacked right over your wrists. So we're not out here sinking into our ribs, and our hands aren't too close, and our booty's not sitting back towards our heels. We want a nice straight line here and a nice straight line with our arms. And watch that you're not sagging in this position. You want to root down through the top of your back and press your belly button to your spine so you maintain that nice flat posture. So the first part of the exercise is nose to your knee and extend the leg up. I don't want the leg to go too high. I want your hips to stay level. So this would be way too high because now I'm sinking and twisting. I want you to maintain that level. And if you need to flex the foot, to do that, you can, and make sure that you stay parallel. I don't want it turned out position. I want you to drop that hip and keep a nice long line. Make sure you're not sinking here, you're pushing up. So it goes knee in and flex. Knee in and flex. We'll do that 8 times. Then we're going to tap our toe down, lift. Down. Now really think of lifting from the heel and the glute. I don't want you to think of the lift coming from your back arching and releasing. I don't want to see any movement in the top part of your body. It's all happening from right here where your seat meets your leg. So we're gonna do 8 lower lifts. Then we're gonna hold this one up. We're gonna turn the leg out at this time, and then we're gonna bring the leg to a parallel position side. So as I'm coming forward, if your foot is flexed, I should see your toes, not your heel, to the side. This is where you're gonna wanna start to dip. Stay lifted and long through that opposite side, and bring it back around. Maintain the same level as you bring the leg around. So as it's coming, it shouldn't do the dip and whip. No dip and whip. Straight back and forward. Then we're gonna touch it down and lift. Down and lift. Down 8 times. And then we're going to do a little baby circle. So the leg stays extended, lifted, and you circle it 8 times. And then we go in the other direction, and then you shake it out. Whew. And you should feel that in your glutes, and then we'll do the other side. So, let's get going with this one. I may change directions for you so that you can see what it looks like from the side and the front. I'm keeping my focus up because I actually have my Instagram live on the wall, so I can see if there's ever any comments or questions. But I really want you to work on keeping a nice flat line to that neckline. So don't break that line by lifting the head up like I am. I'm breaking my own rule. We're starting with one leg extended, nose to the knee. So it comes in, extend, 2, extend. Push down through the floor with your hands. And when your hands are on the floor, spread the fingers nice and wide, like you have a jazz hand on the floor. Belly button is to your spine, nice long back. 4, 3, 2. Here comes the lower and lift. Keep it parallel. Down, tap that toe. So as I do this tap, I maintain that same level. My leg's not kicking up here. It's not a back exercise. It's a glute exercise. So think of lifting from here. Lift. 5. Now we're going to bring it to the side. We go side for 2, back, all the way around. Side for 2. Check yourself out. Make sure you're not leaning into the side or crunching on that opposite side. Keep lifting up. Bring it side for 2. 2 more. Out for 2. You should start to feel the burn. Push away from the ground. Hold this one there. We're going to lower, lift, flex that foot. Parallel. Down, tap. 3, 4, ready? After 8, we're going to circle the leg. Baby circles, very small circles. Support that opposing side. Other way. And shake it out. Hopefully you felt that right here on that outside of your hip and your buttocks. If you're hurting this knee that's on the floor, put something underneath you so that you're not hurting yourself. Side note, when you're doing that, make sure that you're not letting the opposite side start to drift down and let the leg turn out. Because we want to make sure that we're tapping in to the outside of our hips on this exercise. So let's try the other side. On those knees, ready? Nose to the knee is the first one. So you go in, extend, flex the foot, in, extend, and in, extend. Again, make sure the hips are staying level, none of this. Keep it nice and square. Curve the spine so you have a rounded back into a flat back. In. Here comes the lower and lift. Tap, lift. Push the floor away. Keep the toes pointing down towards the floor so you're not turning out. 4 more here. 4. Straight leg. Make sure you're not letting this dip happen. Ready? We're going to bring it to the side for 2. And back for 2. Side for 2. Keep it nice and parallel. Side for 2. Watch you're not tipping here. Pull it up. Side. 2 more, moving it to the side for 2. Back. Last one. Hold it here. Lower and lift. We go. Tap. 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 Ready? Here comes our circles. Circle. And other way, circle it out. And give it a good tap out. Side note, if you notice when you were doing that exercise in the supporting leg, if you started to put tension in the lower ankle and start to do all this crunchy stuff with this bottom foot, notice that and be aware of that because that's your body trying to create stability because it's not there in your core. So you really have to be careful of that, because that's going to translate when you come onto your feet for your dancing. All right, our next exercise, you get to lay down for this one a little bit. We're going to keep working those hips because they're very important for dance. So this is one of those exercises where if you have a band, you may add it, okay? If you don't, that's okay. I'll show the exercise without, and then on my other side, my weaker side, I'll use the band because I need to level up for my left. So you want to make sure that your knees and toes are stacked, and if you have a towel or a yoga mat, your shins are parallel so that they're in line with that line. I don't want your legs back here, I want them up here. So you have a 90-degree angle with your knees, and then a 90-degree angle in your hips. You're going to lay down onto your side. You choose your side. We're going to do both sides, doesn't matter. There's two options for your head. Option one is to come down onto your elbow and support your head. The other one is to lay flat to the side. Either one is acceptable, whatever is more comfortable for you. If you have a yoga block and you want to level up, or a water bottle, or go next to the wall and do this, you can put it behind your bottom, because what we're going to first do is our clamshells, and we want to keep our hips stacked. So if I was demonstrating my clamshell, I want my leg to open and close this way, but I don't want the action to happen from my hips twisting. I want to use those deep rotators in my hip socket to create that mobility in my hip. So you want to make sure that you're keeping those hips stacked over one another, and by putting something behind you, or even going, I'll go up against the wall so you can see what it looks like here, I can make sure that I'm really working the rotator. This is a really great way. So if you have the band, you can put the band up above your knees. Make sure it's not on top of your knees as you open and close. But expect the range of motion to be much smaller with the band. Okay, if you're forcing and popping, that's counterproductive. That's not going to help you. The idea is to get that mobility to be consistent and fluid. So if you're yanking and popping, it's really not going to help you when you try to use that for your dance. So really try to make the movement fluid. So I'm going to demonstrate on the right side without the band. We're going to do clamshells. We open and close. Open, we're going to do a bunch of those, like a bunch. Then we're going to stop, keep this leg down, and extend the foot. We're flexing the foot again, and our heel is pressing towards the front. Now, I don't want your leg to come higher than your hip, so your leg's not up here. It stays nice and parallel and even, and we're going to take the leg, and we're going to do a rond de jambe, back, up and over, front, and toes are reaching down. So we're not turning out, we're still internally rotated. And we're going to do a couple of these hip circles. This is where you're going to want to start to roll around on those hips. Keep those nice and stacked. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction, so you're lifting it up. And you can put your hand here on your hip so you can feel the movement happening in that hip socket. Then we're going to stop to the front. We're going to tap and lift. Keep it parallel. Tap and lift. Tap and lift. We're going to do a bunch of those. And then we're going to take this top foot and cross it over. Flexing the bottom foot, we're going to use the underside leg. So we're using the bottom leg that has been kind of resting up until now, and we're going to lower and lift, lower and lift, lower and lift, a bunch of those, lower and lift, lower and lift, lower lift. Then we're going to take our top leg, we're going to turn it in, we're going to lean our body a little bit forward, and we're going to do some kicks backward, donkey kick. Again, it's internally rotated, so your toes are pointing down. The knee comes to the elbow, and it kicks back. And when you kick back is where I want you to have the push, the momentum. Pretend that there's like a dresser there, and you're trying to use your foot to push your dresser across the room. So we start with the clamshells, we do the rotations in both directions, lower and lift to the front, cross it over, bottom leg lifts, and then the doggy kicks back. If you're going to put a band on, now's your time. Your band will go up here, over the knees, legs are stacked in front of your mat, stick something behind your butt or go up against the wall so you're not cheating these. And we are going to get started working this clamshell series. Ready? Here we go. Lift the top leg open. Open, close. Open. Engage your core in this. So you're really pressing that belly button to your spine. And you're not letting your lunch or dinner hang out to the front here. Keep that top hip stacked over to the bottom one. A little faster. Open. Open. Open, open. Good, we're going to do 8 more fast. Then we're going to keep the same motion. We're going to lift the toes off of the floor. Our knees are going to point down, but we're still doing this clamshell series. So toes go up. We go open, close. Keep the hips stacked. So when we release those toes off the floor, you tend to roll towards the back. Here we go fast. Open and close. Open and close. Try to maintain stability in those legs. Don't want to wild around here. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg, flex the front foot. Round your shot. Now if you're at the wall, you need to come away a little bit. So you're going up and then back around. Up, round. Try not to move. Maintain stability in that bottom leg. Toes are pointing down towards the ground. Make sure you're going all the way front, but you're also going all the way back. Don't stop side. 2 more. And reverse the circle, so you're going back, up, and over. Toes are down. You can put your hand on top so you can feel the hip socket, using that to rotate around. Hold it to the front, lower and lift. We go down and up, down and up. Remember I said lower and lift, not fall or drop. So you're in control of the lower. Down and up. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. You should feel a little burn here. Take this top knee, cross it over. Make sure your top foot is all the way on the floor. If you need to prop yourself up onto your elbow at this time, you can, or you can stay down. Using the bottom leg, flex it, lower and lift. Lift. So now we're working that inner thigh on that bottom leg. Make sure your leg is parallel. We're not here with the toes up, toes forward. And keep that hip stacked so you're not rolling back. 4 more here. We go 4, 3, 2, and 1. I have to scooch away from the wall for our donkey kicks. So I'm going to take my top leg, bring it to my elbow. I go in, push it back. Toes are down. Push it back. In, push it back. In, push it back. 4, belly button your spine, no wobbles in that core. 2 more here. In, out, in, and out. Shake it out, other side. So, top leg is stacked. Make sure those shins are parallel to the front of your mat or your towel. We're starting with our clamshells. Top leg, lower lift. Keep those hips stacked top. We go slow first. Slow. Try to keep those toes pressed together. Press those heels forward so you're not sickling here. Double time. We go open. 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 Good. Belly button to your spine. Shoulders are pressed down. You can take the option to lower the head if you want. And 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to lift the toes, but we go slow. Open, close. Open, close. Open. Now we're going to take it to that double time. Up, up, up. So your range of motion gets a little smaller when the speed picks up there. But you should start to feel it a little bit, that tingling, burning sensation right here in that hip. Good. Now top leg goes to the front, up and back, and front. Make sure it goes all the way so you get to the back corner of the room there. Don't stop it short. This would be short. It should go all the way back behind where your hip is, but maintain stability in your core and your pelvis as you circle the hip or the leg around. And reverse. Keep that top hip stacked over the bottom hip there. 4 more. And 3. Now we're going to do our lower lift to the front. Toes point down. Ready? Here we go. Tap it down. 1. Lift from the bottom. 4 more. 4, 3, 2. Top leg over the top. Bottom leg underneath. Flex the toe, lower and lift. Working that inner thigh on that bottom leg. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Good. Let's take it a little faster. Lift. 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 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring that knee forward. Tap the elbow. Push it back. In. Push back. In. Push back. In. back. Use the glutes to push that heel. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, let's give those hips a little bit of a rest here. Moving on to our hip series. So now that we've really worked in strengthening, now I want to loosen it up a little bit. So we're going to work for a little bit of mobility in that hip socket, a little flexibility. We're going to start on our backs. Our feet are planted flat on the floor. I'm going to face sideways so you can see the leg working, and then we'll do it together. So you're laying flat on your back, your feet are down, your belly button is pressed in, so watch if you're not popping the ribs in this position. You're knitting the ribs pressed down, hands are flat on the mat. I'm going to work my downstage leg towards you first. As I lift, I'm thinking of making this circular motion and then dropping my knee down towards my shoulder. So I'm going 1 and 2. And my foot is relaxed. I'm not pointing or flexing. It's really just working to get a little bit of mobility in this hip. We're going to do 4 of those. Then we're going to stop on 5. And we're going to rotate and do a rond de jambe around. Now watch as you do this, that you don't let the hips do this, and you don't let your top knee start to fall out. You want to make sure you maintain stability and support in that bottom knee as it comes around and lifts, and then you're going to circle in the opposite direction. And you're going to notice when you go into the opposite direction here, that you're going to want to go and pop your ribs. So keep those ribs knitted close. Bring it into a passe position, 1, 2. Extend 3, 4, lower it down 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring it in 1, 2, stretch up 3, 4, full rond de jambe, keeping that stability in that core and the pelvis as it comes around. And then this is turned out. You bottom lift and then reverse the rond de jambe around. Bring that heel forward. So I'm rotating, rotating, rotating. And then I turn it to parallel when I drop down. So you're working the turnout rotation because we did a lot of internal rotation on the last 2 exercises. Then we'll start on the other side. So we're just creating a little bit of looseness in those hips, and then we're going to move to our core series. On our backs, I'll just show you the whole thing. We can do it together. Then we're going to keep our feet flat. We're going to lift our chin towards the sky. So we're not tucking here. Pretend there's an apple underneath your chin. You're going to lift for 2. Lower for 2, lift for 2. We're going to do a bunch of crunches here. Then we're going to take opposite knee to opposite elbow and lower. Not letting our head drop in between sessions. So we're going to lift and keep it lifted. Higher and higher and higher. Then we're going to take knee comes in both hands. Take your outside hand to your ankle, little Pilates, and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we're going to scissor the legs. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that will be our series. Let's deal with some music. So we're starting with that hip mobility a little bit. Get some movement. And then we'll do our core series.